Hey guys, I'm Combat Craig. Yes, this says Grinch. These are Grinch pajamas, and that doesn't matter because this is what I'm doing. Today we're talking about why veterans are getting ripped off. There's data that shows this, and the main reason is pride. That's what we're going to talk about. If you're interested in learning more about the VA claims process, check out my bootcamp at combatcraig.com. And this is a medical evidence thing. You need it in order to win. If you need medical evidence, contact my med team. They're also at my website, and the link says med team and nexus letters. Here's why pride is the main reason. Hindsight has lots of benefits. This is one of them. I had a pride issue. I still have it. And it prevented me for almost 30 years from just accepting all sorts of things. I'm still not accepting things, but I did finally figure out how to get through the mud and the slog and, get paid. As disabled veterans, we have a lot of things in common. We served our country. We did it proudly, and it represents a period of time in our life. And most of us are proud of what we did, and it's a highlight. That all may be true, and you might have also got disabled along the way. We were conditioned, right? It started in boot camp. Like this isn't debatable or a mystery. We, had our brains erased basically in boot camp. We learned how to think as a elite fighting unit, regardless of what you were doing and branch of service. That was the number one job. And, we had a mindset, suck it up, don't complain, all that kind of stuff. We got out of the military and that mindset stayed there, right? You may notice that you're mysteriously at the scene of the accident 20 times. I was at the scene because I was involved, if not the cause. That's the reality of the situation. If things are feeling off, there's some kind of problem out there, you just can't quite put your finger on it. Put the finger on yourself because you're the problem. This is going to be something you're going to deal with for the rest of your life. I'm dealing with this right now. It was a big shocker, and I get focused in on things. I don't accept no for an answer. It works in a lot of situations. That mindset needs to be there in your VA claim. That's the way you have to be in certain fights. You just can't back down. You can't lose. No's not an answer. Everything's an excuse. Your VA claim, a version of that, needs to be there for your VA claim. I hope you don't need to use it, but expect them to push back on you. So pride is the main reason. Right? We are conditioned to not complain, admit we have problems. There's nothing wrong with us because there was a period of time where that didn't matter because we are not an individual. We are a team and we fight. Now it's just you. You're not in the military anymore. And I am seeing a lot more people on active duty filing BDD claims and building the medical evidence or having it or filing the claim in the 1-year presumptive period, which is where that's the best place to file it and win it right out of the gate. So that makes me happy, but a lot of us just aren't there. All these things are happening, but your pride is getting in your own way. And the other part is the VA, this is about money. It's business to the VA. And, they're ripping us off because they can. We're allowing them to. It doesn't take much for me to go down a rabbit hole and for me to get spun. And I need to be careful. And at a bare minimum, I need to be protected. And I normally am. I'm dealing with this right now. It took my ex-wife to actually point out something that actually, I don't know. I just keep selling myself stories. The reason I'm talking about this is I have a lot of pride, a huge ego, and a lot of other things, and they're in my way. If what I'm describing to you doesn't make sense, go find a way for it to make sense. Pride is in your way, and what other people say about your disability is irrelevant. There are people, I get comments weekly, if not daily, oh, you don't look disabled. You shouldn't be 100% permanent total. It happens so much and it means so nothing, barely bothers me anymore. Some of them get in, some of them, it does, get under your skin, but it's just not part of my claim. So they just don't know me. If you're that guy, you have no clue what I'm doing, or what I'm about, where I was, what I've seen, how I feel, so it doesn't matter. You don't need to help me or be involved in my financial situation. Go somewhere else, away from me, especially if it's negative. If I can help you, cool. Now, we can even go a little further. What if it's somebody that was actually in a foxhole with me? Also, doesn't mean anything. We spent time together in a foxhole, but now it's been 30 years. He's doing his thing. He may say, hey, you were in the foxhole and I was in the foxhole. You're at 100, I'm at 50. Well, maybe the foxhole scared me more. My mental health rating is higher, and other things have happened, and he didn't know about the broken this or the broken that or the strain. You know what I mean? So nobody else really has any skin in this game, and nobody else matters. Your family matters. Other people's opinions about your disability doesn't matter, except the doctor. It's a medical battle. This is what it's all about. Pride first, and then facts. Get clear-eyed about it. It's the only way to go. You have to be clear-eyed. And you can be clear-eyed in your Grinch pajamas, because that's the way I decided to roll. Figure out what you need to do. The facts are the facts. You don't need to fight everything the VA is doing once you understand that you're at a fight. You need to fight the diagnosis if you're missing it. If you don't have the nexus, the link between your disability that you're filing a claim for and your active duty service, if you lost that, that's your fight. If you won both of those things, if you won the current diagnosis and the nexus, that means you establish service connection and you have at least a 0% rating. Now your fight is the symptoms piece. There's 3 components. You do have to have some kind of fight on all 3 of them, but you don't need to continue that fight. Once you won, leave it alone. You got the diagnosis. Good, perfect. Nexus, you already established service connection. You don't need to bring all that stuff up. It's not relevant. It's not legal. It's not even argument. It's just nonsense. You're fighting about the symptoms. You need to find a doctor that will fill out a DBQ so you have your side represented, because you are going to a C&P exam. A VA rater will order it. Not 100% of the time. It's stupid to not expect it. This is the other part of why veterans are, getting ripped off by the VA, the way the system is. You don't need to like the system. You do have to deal with the system. You do this in your life. There's things you just don't tolerate anymore. You can only, spend so much energy on. This isn't different than that. Everything is a different challenge for different people. This particular challenge feels personal because it is. They say they're the Department of Veterans Affairs. That implies help. They are not helping. You may be the one guy they helped or whatever. Something positive happened. I'm glad the system worked as it's advertised to do. Overall, it hasn't worked like that for me. I was able to finally, get to 100% permanent and total. And I deserve more. Strategy and risk come in here. You need to have a strategy, whatever it is. If you don't know what you're doing, get one. And then stick with the strategy. I told myself once I got to 100% permanent total, I was done. Once I got to 100% permanent total, I learned that I also could win special monthly compensation K, which is erectile dysfunction, and special monthly compensation S, which is housebound. I started to think about pursuing it, and then I yanked myself back and was like, no, that's not worth the risk. Putting my $3,700 on the line is not worth risking an extra couple $100. That's just for me. I count on that money. And I'm going to not touch anything for, 15 more years. I weigh risks differently than you do. You weigh them how you want to. Some people say go after every penny they owe you and do it immediately. And that is definitely an approach. That's the way it should be. But just remember, there are risks. Every time you file for an increase, you can also get a decrease. All right, so here's the numbers. At the bottom, you have the percentages broken down, 0, 10 or 20, 30 or 40, 50 or 60, 70% or higher. Rating not reported. There's a lot of people there. And no service-connected disability rating is the big one. There's not, there's 18 million veterans out there. You're telling me that 11,418,000 walked out and absolutely nothing was wrong? That's not true. That is the number you need to look at and see if that's the category you're in. That's really the whole point of this video. So that was my long-winded, multi-rabbit hole Grinch story about the VA and why veterans are getting underpaid. Leave a comment below. Let me know what your VA disability rating is, what you think about these numbers, what you think about my pajamas, or no thoughts at all, and I'll see you in the next video. If you're interested in learning more about the VA claims process, check out my bootcamp at combatcraig.com. And this is a medical evidence thing. You need it in order to win. If you need medical evidence, contact my med team. They're also at my website, and the link says Med Team and Nexus letters.